Way too much.
So, but we met. What's funny is, like, I don't know much about you, but I know you obviously because of Tony.
Yeah.
And your whole Nashville Connect thing, and we'll get to that. But you've been in my house, and I literally don't know much about you.
Right? Is that weird to think about? Like, I've been.
Well, no, because it was a party for Tony. It wasn't like
yeah.
you sneaking in the middle of the night. That's breaking and entering, and we call
that
it
happened later that night. Yeah.
I thought the gnome was missing. Fun side story. I don't know if I should tell this. Well, yeah, no one's gonna get in trouble. There's definitely there's timelines on these things. When I was in high school, my older brother had everybody had a sibling with a basement or garage band.
Yeah.
Right. So my brother played the drums in a band, and look, a lot of shenanigans took place around music, and we would definitely throw massive house parties while my parents were out of town, and my brother's band would play, and it was great. I mean, it was very, very every MTV movie from the late '90s and early 2000s.
Okay.
Right. And their band name was the Garden Gnome Thieves.
The Garden Gnome Thieves.
Garden Gnome Thieves.
That's a killer
and
name.
the reason they had the name, also a reason they never told anybody until people started to figure it out, is every once in a while they would go out and they'd steal another garden gnome from. We lived in this little town of Rochelle, Illinois, like Fairview, basically, right? So maybe a little bit. I guess I don't know how many people are in Fairview, but a town of 7,000-8,000 people or so, right? So like. My high school graduating class, I think it was like 118 kids or 130 some kids. I don't know. Not big, right?
Yeah.
But not tiny, you know what I mean? It was a decent town. But so they would go out and they would steal a garden gnome from a different house around town every couple of weeks. And in the basement of my parents' house where the band was set up, I mean, it was a permanent band room set up in the basement. And they had all these like the hippie rugs that everybody had in the early 2000s. The hippie rugs, late 90s, early 2000s, those were on the ground. And then decorating all around all the amps and everything were all these random garden gnomes. And they would steal garden gnomes all over town. And people started to put it together we know why you named your band that. I have no idea why I ended up telling that story.
It's a great story.
But, yeah, that was, and then some of their younger siblings started participating.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. They didn't steal it. It was just a collection. They were collecting.
We were collecting and giving them a better home. They no longer had to endure the weather outside of the Midwest.
Curators of garden gnomes.
Yeah, just trying to protect the garden gnomes.
Look, that's, I think, what every thief calls themselves, a curator of other people's property.
Yeah.
So, but no, so you and I, we met. I know a little bit about you. Tony speaks super highly of you.
Stuff, yeah.
No, it's all the bad stuff that we can't record. That's why I want you to tell me good stuff today.
Okay, cool.
So I've met, obviously we've spent some time hanging out together. I've gotten to meet your wife, Rachel. She's super sweet. Obviously you came to my home, but there was, 80 other people there. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And, we may have gotten a live video from inside my house, may have gone viral for other reasons we don't need to talk about. Nothing we did wrong, but definitely some stuff other people tried to perpetrate against us. And, But like I said, Tony said super good things about you. But I want to get to know you. We do this not to talk about, the goal is not to talk about business. I know we do a little business together, obviously, but it's not to talk business, right? The goal is never to be like, here's the mortgage podcast. You're like, you're an insurance. Here's the insurance pod. Like,
who wants to listen to that, right?
Yeah. I would rather chew on glass than be a part of it, let alone listen to it.
Let's talk about deductibles today.
But no kidding. Right. Have you added up your personal property correctly? Did you get a new necklace at Christmas?
Yeah.
But what is cool about it, right, is that Compass is gracious enough to at least just sponsor the room for us and give us a place where we can record stories, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I've always been a big believer because outside of doing what I do for a living, like I've spent a lot of years in ministry just trying to redeem that garden gnome story.
Yeah.
And
take some time.
Oh, I got a long way to go.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other stories that need redeeming. Thank God God doesn't work that way. But in doing this, what we found is that like just giving guys an opportunity to tell their story, right? Yeah. And what's powerful about it is that the guys that I think, the ones that go, I don't know that I got a real compelling story to tell. Those are the ones that come back to me and go, my story got shared and people are thanking me for doing it. So that's why I am passionate about doing this. This is why I've roped Gavin into this, this vision of this, and we're just excited to keep giving a platform to guys. And by platform, I mean the opportunity to tell the story for you to do whatever. Yeah. No one listens to this, right? Yeah. There's no following. This isn't some like you're going to be famous because none of us have any goal to do it. If anything, this is cathartic to me.
I thought I was going to get like a ton of followers by being here.
Well. Sean, I watched the Sean Ryan show. He gives out gummy bears, and I feel like that alone, regardless of his following, the gummy bears he gives away, that's more value than I'm ever probably going to bring to you.
Okay, I hear you.
Okay,
I'm here for it. Yeah.
But I like that he gives away gifts. We should talk about that, Gavin, about having a gift for everybody. But he gives away a gift because he owns the gummy bear company. He's an investor in it.
Oh.
And he's quick to mention that they're legal in all 50 states. They're not like weird, like.
He also gets sponsored gifts, too. I think that's what you need to figure out.
You get sponsored by Albanese gummies.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, you don't understand. There's nothing like an Albanese gummy.
Oh, we know the Albanese family.
Do you?
Michael Albanese used to actually be in one of our networking groups with us.
Yeah.
Come on. Do you understand? I've not completed a single car ride over 90 minutes with my wife.
Yeah.
Where she doesn't make me stop and go buy her bag of Albany.
They're the best gummies.
And if I walk out of there with Black Forest, she is going to hit the gas and be there.
Haribo.
Oh, yeah.
Total trash.
I remember
I'm not trying to trash on people, but Black Forest gummy bears are, I mean, you got to be a psychopath to enjoy that. That sucks.
We could probably get you sponsored by Albanese gummies if you want.
Is that real?
No, like that's not even like I don't know about sponsored, but like
he'd probably give you.
He used to give us like big bags of them just because we would do stuff.
Hold on,
butterfly.
Hold on, we are. Oh, dude, the butterflies are where it's at. Yeah. But just the classic bear. My wife, I had to go to Louisville last Saturday, drop my oldest daughter back off at college, right? So we brought her up there so she could start her spring semester, and we get in the car, stop, I get some gas, and my wife opens the package, and it just smelled of.
Oh yeah.
Glory, and I've been very well behaved in my eating, my health, my nutrition for 8 days. Yeah, I don't deserve too much credit. But I did not eat. Do you understand riding in a car 3 hours that way, 3 hours back, smelling Albanese gummies and not eating a single one?
That's
hardest thing I've done.
Yeah.
Discipline.
You could open a bottle of Pappy right now in front of me, and I would be like, easier to say no to that than an Albanese.
Oh yeah. Well, so I used to do these videos, like it's called Advice from Your Boring Neighborhood Insurance Agent.
I think that's genius.
Yeah, and it was like just monotone, like really stupid stuff. And
you probably just got a necklace for Christmas. Yeah, and need to add that to your personal property.
Exactly. But so we had a joke that I would always have a bag of Albanese gummies, like as an Easter egg in all the videos. And I showed it to Michael, and he was like, "I can get you more of those if you want to keep putting them in the videos." And I was like, "Yes."
Right. You don't understand. If I can get a giant, like a big old Albany bear to just set on this table, it will live there.
Well, he works at Neighbors like part-time. We could just go over there one day and get a beer and just
we go over there right now and screw this episode.
Yeah.
We just go now and let's go see it.
It's been fun, everybody.
Hey, this is great. I hope you really got to know Josh. He
loves his Albanese gummies.
Loves Albanese, does insurance, wife named Rachel. That's it.
Yeah, learned a lot. He's a bearded bro.
Yeah. And we'll be doing weddings near you sometime too. No, so all right. So seriously though, but like, tell me your story, man. Like, where are you from? Kind of tell me about your family. Like, what's
So I'm a third generation Nashville native, man. My grandparents were born and raised here. Yeah.
It's like the Eminem commercial.
Both my parents were born and raised here. All of it. So that's funny. All of my family's probably within like 20 minutes of us right now. So. Kind of cool. Love seeing Nashville the way it was then and the way it is now. It's really cool to see that the growth and everything like that. So, went to college in Murfreesboro. I was actually going to go for recording industry when I first went down to MTSU. I wanted to be in a band and do all that. Then quickly changed to physical education and kinesiology, and became a personal trainer after college. I've been all over the place, man. I've been all over the place.
How do you make the transition from music to physical education, kinesiology? Yeah,
so a good friend of mine, Kelby, we went to high school together. He was a senior at MTSU recording industry when I was a freshman. He was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Really, all I ever want to do is be in a band." And he was like, "Well, don't get a recording industry degree if that's all you get, like a backup plan or something like that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. That's a good idea." So changed over to kinesiology because I loved, I was a wrestler in high school and college, so I loved all of that. And then just kind of fell in love with that aspect of everything, and actually got a job working at a gym in Nashville and managing a gym in Nashville, and then got a full-time job offer. Never even went into recording industry or anything like that. So
where he worked with and met and knows
He worked
our
with
buddy Clay.
Clay Ham.
Clay.
Clay was one of the first episodes. That we
Yeah,
did.
Clay and I worked together at the Nashville Athletic Club. He was the trainer. He trained me a little bit, and I couldn't handle it. He was tearing me apart left and right. He was
Yeah,
good.
Clay was. I'm not saying like Clay's a great guy, and I'm pretty sure that him knowing the Lord has helped him from becoming the scariest man in the world.
100%.
Because he's just an intense dude. He's a great guy.
Oh yeah.
But so were you? So a couple things.
Yeah.
One, when you worked with Clay at that club, were you there when? It was either Cinderella or Whitesnake. Were you there when he offended the band on accident?
I don't think I was there that day when it happened, but I remember hearing about that. And I don't know the whole story there. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's it's harmless, so it's no big deal
Yeah.
to tell. But he was walking down the hallway and like and coming up to like the reception desk.
yeah,
And was it Whitesnake or Cinderella? I want to say it was Cinderella.
I don't think it was White.
And it was something was, and mind you, like it's not my feelings about the music. I don't have a lot of feelings about 80s hair rock, but Cinderella, that was playing on the speakers, and back then, as he said, so back then it was just somebody would have to plug their phone in.
Yeah.
And he said, he looked at the girl and he goes, "Who's playing this crap?" And the lead singer had just walked out of one of the fitness rooms from working out.
Oh.
And she gave him the look like, "Oh no." And he turns around and sees him, and the rest of the band is laughing at the lead singer because they can see that he's offended by it. He's upset.
Oh no.
Right. And
Yeah.
and as he walks by, he drops some expletives at Clay and walked out the door.
Well, that sounds right. Because I remember so I would manage on Saturdays. My buddy Christian was the front desk manager, and then Clay would be there training. So literally, like, we would be in charge.
Mhm.
And I was like 80s on 8 all day long. Like, I'm just going to mess with people. Like, you got these like bodybuilder guys working out. I was like, we're going to play like soft, like, more than words, like in the gym and things like that. And so I'd find 80s on 8 and just like roll all day long. So yeah, that's probably what happened.
That tracks.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So then you just wanted to be in a band. What'd you play?
Yeah, I played guitar and I sang. So I was in a lot of choirs growing up, and then picked up the guitar in middle school and started playing. Just really enjoyed it. Yeah.
But then with the switch, you never like pursued music at all?
Not at all.
Literally being third generation, growing up here in
Right.
Nashville, never pursued the music.
Well, it's weird. So I wasn't a great guitar player. I was
honest.
okay. I could learn how to do
to
stuff.
be
but-
fair, while there's some great musicians that have come out of this place,
yeah,
there's a lot of famous, really bad guitar
that's
players.
very fair. Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of famous, very bad singers that have come out of this place.
That's true too. Yeah. Well, so I broke my arm in a wrestling match and lost my nerve like all the way down, and so I couldn't play guitar for about a year. And so part of that was just like I found other things to do, never really picked it back up like officially again.
Sure.
So that was part of why I didn't like go farther with it. But I love being around the music industry and just like hearing stories and learning how it works and things like that. So a couple of my friends are like songwriters in Nashville now, doing really well, and a pretty big country band. So I always like pick their brain when I see them and talk to them. But yeah.
You got to be very careful when you talk about bands around here.
Oh yeah.
Be very careful. Like I can reference some people that are like, they're not good. They'll tell you that.
Yeah.
They're not good at it. Just right place, right time, right whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. But
Yeah. And who you know, and then like if you're trying to get better, you just work at it forever and finally it hits or something.
when did you leave MTSU?
So 2007 is when I graduated college.
So you're 39?
At 40.
40?
Yeah. Yeah, I turned 40 last May.
Oh,
Yeah.
10 years from now, you can start getting that catch-up allowance on your 401k.
So excited.
Oh, it's
So
gonna be
excited.
So good.
Yeah, I know.
You got 10 years of falling behind on your investment.
I know, and I'm really looking forward to it. Like I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
What? All right. So you get out of school.
Yeah.
You've got the kinesiology and physical education. Never went into like teaching.
No, so I was going to go teach and be a wrestling coach. And then the gym offered me a full-time job, and like I was going to be making more money doing that. And I was like, well, let's just do this first.
It's not hard to outpace a teacher.
Yeah, well, and part of it too at the time.
Sad. I mean, that sucks.
It is
but
sad.
It is what it is.
Oh yeah. Well, at the time,
We're
part
not
of it,
solving that problem here. So.
No. But they were talking at the time about like physical education teachers in Tennessee going to two schools, and you'd be at one school like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one school Tuesday, Thursday. was like, the next thing is they're just going to get rid of physical education. So I've got a full-time job here. They're offering it to me. I love working here. So let's just take that and go in that direction. But I use my teaching degree, I feel like, a lot, especially in like my business now and other stuff. Like I can educate people better just because I have that background. So it
Gotcha.
helps a lot. Yeah.
What tell me about like parents, grandparents, like you guys been around here, like give us the meat of it. Like what are your parents, like what do they do? Obviously everybody's still here.
Yeah.
I know you said most people are, or just about everybody's within 20 minutes of you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my dad's retired. My mom still works at Vanderbilt Hospital. She's been there since she got out of college.
What's your mom do at Vandy?
She's a nurse. Yeah, she's been a nurse there forever.
What department is she in?
So the PACU is the main one that she's been to, the post anesthesia
Okay.
unit, but she's been all over. Like I remember when I was little, going up there and visiting her, like the kidney transplant floor and everything like that. She's been all over that hospital.
So now selfish rabbit trail.
Yeah.
So the PACU does, regardless of what you're there for surgery, you all kind of end up in the same place.
From what I know, yes. I unfortunately don't know enough about all of that because I feel like mom moved around so much that like I didn't pay as much attention as I should have as a good son would.
Right.
But yeah, I remember visiting that after my surgery, so I think everybody pretty much goes in there.
Gotcha. As I say, because Maggie, so my wife was just at Vandy in, when was her surgery? October 18th, 15th, something like that. And but yeah, so I mean, being in the as chaotic as I have, I mean, and not for us, right? My wife's just trying to wake up from surgery.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So my wife had surgery to deal with. So my wife just came out the other side of cancer.
Oh, okay.
So she had pretty serious surgery. I mean, like,
Yeah.
and they both, you know, not only is she under, and then they localed her torso. I mean, they went
Wow.
after. They had two anesthesiologists in the surgery. So, but we're in. So when I could first go see her was in that, what I would think would be that PACU, that recovery room, right? As
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
coming out of anesthesia. And those women in there, man, and there may have been some guys in, but it's predominantly women.
Yeah.
And they are running like wildfire.
Yes, they are.
And then a bed leaves and a new bed comes in, and they just keep like I sat there, not able to talk to my wife because she was still like, whoa. And I just was like, how? I'd do the wrong thing for the wrong person in here. I have no idea how those women keep up.
They're
with it.
constantly moving. So my mom's been managing that floor for a while. And so I remember when I was, after my surgery, like waking up, like I was under for like 5 hours.
Do you have a picture of your mom?
I
just want
I can get one probably.
Look, she didn't come out of it well. I just don't. I was polite but firm about some stuff that needed to happen, and it was late in the day, and my wife was supposed to be up on the cancer floor.
Okay.
And they were like, well, we're too full. We're putting her over in this other place, shared room, the whole nine. You can't stay. It was the whole thing.
Yeah.
When her oncologist was like, told me flat out, you need to stay the night. Don't ever let this hospital tell you have to go home.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, come hell or high water, you figure it out. Like, your wife's going to need help more than a nurse visiting.
Yeah.
They harvested all kinds of organs out of my wife.
Yeah.
So, but they, and the manager that was in there is the one that I ended up having to work with to try to figure this thing out. And my wife had just come out of a 7-hour surgery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I was in tip-top form.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But ultimately, she ended up being helpful. This woman that was there, older blonde lady.
No, my mom's got like the grayer hair now, short. Yeah.
That's why I was like, was I mean to your mom? Like, oh, this is going to be
Oh, no,
terrible.
here we
Your mom
go.
watches this, and she's like, I remember him.
That guy.
That guy. Oh,
I mean,
he
it would-
was so mean to me.
It wouldn't be the first small world moment there. Like the guy who broke my arm in a wrestling match actually found out after the fact that his mom worked with my mom at Vanderbilt. And so like he actually came and visited me in the hospital after I had surgery. And I was
Really?
like, what's going on here? And he was like, yeah, our moms work together. I was like, what? That's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
All right. So you're working at the gym.
Yep. Working at the gym.
Right. How long you stay there?
So I was at the gym for about probably a year and a half after college, and then left. I want to go full-time personal training. So I went and did that for a little while. And then just kind of being young and reckless, left the fitness industry as a whole. It was like I wasn't making any money, got a little angry with like some management stuff that was going on. And so left that and actually started working at Hertz Rental Car. So I was a rental car guy for a while.
Is that the tie-in that you were saying with
Yeah.
the enterprise?
Yeah, we both worked in that rental car industry.
Yeah.
Which is a whole thing.
Whole
itself.
thing in itself. Yeah.
Wow, what's wrong with that?
It is probably the worst run industry. It makes no sense. It's it's just terrible.
Is this why, like, when you reserve a car and then you show up and they're like, we don't have one, you're like, but I have a reservation, but we don't have a car? Is that like, how does this?
So they want to run staff as tight as possible for profit. Then you run your fleet as tight as possible. Like what they call is like a utilization rate, like how many cars are always on rent. And they wanted you at like 92, 95% at all times. And so you'd run into situations where you couldn't keep cars available just sitting on the lot, or like the store would be in trouble for having too few cars on the lot. So you're just constantly moving in and out. And then when people inevitably say, I'm going to hold on to it for a few more days, or the body shop's not done quickly, then now you're short cars. Mm-hmm. And I remember even driving to like Atlanta to pick up cars for my store downtown just because we needed cars, or like 15 passenger vans, things like that.
And there's no way that there's a shortage of car, or that you guys are not doing it. Like, I'm walking out every time I get a car, I feel like, because now, right, like, they're like, all right, well, the key's in it, and it's in this spot. Good luck. And you walk out there, and you're like, the whole floor is empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like 4 cars out here.
Oh, I remember like when we'd go through these seasons, right? And they would shop us. So they had an outside company that would call. I don't know if it was the same thing with you.
Hertz,
that would call a couple times a day. This wasn't something they do like sporadically. They did this often to make sure you're doing everything you can to book. Your job is to book that rental, make that reservation, no matter what. Whether you're going to have cars or not, doesn't matter. You book the reservation. So
when
if
you book a reservation, you're not even verifying that you actually have the
inventory
of cars?
That's not your job. No.
Yeah, your job is just to keep people booking reservations.
Book 100. There would be times where you would have. I remember one Saturday, and this was up in Dayton, Ohio. We had like 80 reservations, and I knew we would never have more than 20 cars. But you could not
say
tell people that you were booked or you didn't have cars or whatever. I mean, like, they'd fire you over that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you'd have the area managers would always tell everybody this. I don't know if it was for you. We'll get you, make the reservations. We'll get you the cars. Oh, we got your back. And then they're never to be found when time comes. You know, they're like, you just call me, blowing them up. No help at all. And then you're stuck with people that come in, and you got a line of 20 people and 30 more coming in the next 2 hours, and you've got no cars on your lot.
Yep.
What do you do when you have no cars and 50 people standing there looking at
I
you?
remember having lines of people waiting, and like it'd be the first car is yours, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And like my staff would be out there just ready for the car to pull in so they could clean it real fast and have it ready to go.
All right, so I'm in line. I'm the next guy in line. I've rented a full size, and some compact car pulls in. That's just what I get.
So what we would say is, do you want this one or do you want to wait for the next one to come in?
And I never go, no, I'll take it, but I want a refund of the difference.
We know you reserved a Suburban,
no, doing that.
But we got a Corolla here.
Yeah.
And if I wanted a refund for the difference, the answer is no.
Well, no, we would I remember like backing down the rate on like whatever, like say you booked a Suburban, that rate's different than a compact. We would back that down and like take care of that for you.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that.
Basically what I'm getting at and what I'm understanding here is that we're going to get an Albanese sponsorship from this.
Yeah.
We are never getting a rental car
Oh,
sponsor.
no,
Yeah.
God.
Maybe national, I don't know, but not Hertz.
No, maybe not.
Yeah,
well, our Enterprise is
that's true.
all national.
Yeah, that is
national,
true. Yeah.
Enterprise. There's another
Going
Alamo.
Avis.
Budget. We'll
Going
go budget.
Avis,
we
baby.
go
Going
budget.
Avis.
Never had issues with budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't even know a camera to look
I don't know
at.
where the
Here's the nice part about multiple cameras on the walls.
Yeah.
You don't ever know where to look. So
Exactly.
but
That's right. Yeah.
strong eye contact.
Yeah.
Like your dog out in the yard.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
here we
scare
go.
me.
Here we go.
So when we first met and we found out that we both had worked in the industry, and I was like, "Here's what I dealt with."
I
and
do
he
like
was
that we're calling
"Yep,
the
same
car
thing."
rental world the industry.
The industry.
Well, I mean, because I think it's
Normally in
truly,
Nashville, that's the music industry, but not here, folks.
No,
It's
that's
car
right.
rental.
Car rental.
Well, I think truly it's just the way that whole business model of car rental is built. They all work on that same sort of model, premise, and process. And I'm like, this is for the friggin' birds.
Well, even
man.
from employment purposes, like they just go and hire a bunch of new hires out of college, and then like who makes it, who doesn't. Next year, go hire a bunch of new people and just see who can get through it.
Revolving
It's not easy.
door.
They are just throwing stuff at the wall
And
seeing
hoping.
what sticks.
Mhm.
Yep.
Man, all right, so
Of course,
Hell-
that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, it was
since
a
I
long
worked
time
there.
ago.
Maybe they're
Nah, I'm telling you, probably nothing's changed.
yeah.
Nothing's changed. I'd flown up into Chicago. I had like a 1 day turnaround. I just needed to, and I'd reserved a truck because, look, shout out, best place to book a car, and tell me if I'm wrong, but the best place I found to book a car is through Costco. I book them through my Costco membership all the time.
No idea.
All right, so just you get good rates, right?
Oh yeah.
So I book a truck. Oh, by the way, I was an idiot too. I definitely was flying in, thought I was going to O'Hare, booked a car at O'Hare, was flying. Actually, my ticket was in the Midway. So I had a rental car at O'Hare and a flight in the Midway. And that's probably the one time where I was like, I should slow down. I'm an idiot. But so I got that fixed. Actually, Gavin, was I talking to you when I realized it? I think so. He's the one that's like, but I thought you said you were going to Midway. I was like, hey, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to call, and they worked it out. They were fine, which makes a lot of sense now because they weren't actually checking to see if there was a car available. They were just keeping my reservation,
Yep.
Yeah.
so that I didn't rebook with a different company. They were just like,
Exactly.
sure, wherever you need. But I get there, and I get up to the counter, and I don't even remember which company it was, but I get up to the counter, and then this woman gets up to the counter, the next person, and I'm talking to this lady, and she's super sweet. Right, super sweet woman, and we're talking, and I see, she's talking, and hey, what's the next car? And they're like, it's a Ford. What was like the Ford station wagon? Yeah, no,
Like the back in the day station wagon.
no, but I thought the Edge is like the shorter SUV. This was like the weird long sat low. Flex,
Oh.
the
yeah.
Ford
Flex.
Flex,
Yeah.
and I was like. I go, ma'am, did I just hear that I'm getting a Ford Flex? She said, yeah. I said, well, ma'am, all due respect, like, I booked the Dodge Ram or similar vehicle, and I think we can agree. A Ford Flex is not a similar vehicle.
Yeah.
That sits low and rides like a car, and I'm not doing that. I said, so there's got to be something you could do to help me out. And she goes, well, I think there's one other car, and it's going to the people at the counter next to me who is picking a fight with this other lady about how she's not happy about anything.
Oh,
and
my
by the way, you just got there. You ain't even gotten a car yet,
Yeah.
right? But she is picking a fight over something. And she looks at me and she goes, you're a lot nicer than she is. She goes down. They have a little whisper, swap papers, comes back.
Oh yeah.
I get a Dodge Ram 1500, which works out really good because that's what I have at home.
Yeah.
So I get to just get into another Ram 1500. This works for me. I'm walking out into the lot. There are 2 cars in the entire floor of this parking garage. The truck and the Ford Flex. And this woman and her friend are melting down over how much they are upset about getting a Ford Flex.
Wow.
That was my last experience of a rental car. But also, ironic, it makes a lot of sense why they could transfer it. Tell me this. Here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
What really happens when someone shows up and goes, hey, can I get a free upgrade on my car? I rented a sedan, but I really like that dope SUV.
Yeah. I mean, if you have it, you go for it. You say, hey, $20 a day, $20 more a day or something like that.
There's no free upgrades?
I mean, there were, like,
How do you get
maybe
the
on,
free
like,
upgrade?
On like your status or something,
Yeah.
maybe there'd be something like that. But you always
People have
were
status
trying
with rental
to-
cars?
Yeah.
you get like a gold member, like you pay to be like a preferred status or something
Yeah.
like that.
Or a I forget what we called it, but like a corporate.
yeah.
If
like
they had a corporate
account.
contract with you, like they worked for the X company and that they use you for all their rentals. You
Yeah.
could give them.
So, like, was it
extra
normal to give, like, well, if you pay for this, like standard upsell, like, hey, if you want to pay for we do have this bigger whatever, and if you want to pay for that, we can do this thing for free. Would you guys incentivize just getting that upsell?
I mean, we had to hit sales numbers, so I'll say like people would do things like that,
Yeah.
But it was all situationally based. So like we had a big account with Lifeway Christian bookstores downtown.
Okay.
And I had a guy who would come in almost every other week, and he'd always book a full size because that's all they'd pay for. And I knew he loved pickup trucks, and like we had a bunch of Silverados, and so usually I would just drive one for the week because as a manager you can just take whatever's on the lot home. And I'd be like, when he comes in, I'll just give him the truck for the weekend. He'll be really happy because he gets a free upgrade to the truck. But they spent so much money with our store that it was like, okay, yeah, we'll figure it out.
And if you're nice, you
yeah.
can go a long way. Like if you're a regular sort of
Well, and
parental
that's everywhere. I
person,
mean, people. I don't know how people haven't realized that kindness gets you a long,
Yeah.
long way.
100%.
but if you're somewhat regular and you're kind, I know it was for me. It sounds like it was for you.
Yeah.
They will try and take care of you
yeah,
to the detriment of others
Yeah.
at times if need be. But they will. But it was always like we were always like tracked on the upsell. So you'd be like, hey, I know you booked this midsize, but I got this Impala out there. Now it's normally $20 more a day,
yeah.
but for you, I can do it for 10. You want to take advantage of it? So
Or-
much more leg, blah, 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 blah. And they'd be like, oh, well, no. And I'm like, oh, it's $30 more for your weekend.
It's gonna be so
What's
much more
$30?
comfortable. Yeah,
And so they would go for that kind of thing. And then you'd have to try and sell the
The
insurance. Oh, gosh.
It's the best thing. Just make sure that your auto insurance just has rental car coverage.
Exactly.
Tell those people to pound sand.
Yeah.
I'd flown into my first wedding anniversary. Nope. First? Nope. Second? Third? Somewhere in there. It would have been when Maggie was pregnant with Reed. He's 9 now. So, 10 years ago, I've been married. So third wedding anniversary. I said, hey, we're going to go out. We're just going out to Colorado for a long weekend. Just celebrate our anniversary. I'd already bought the plane tickets, flying to Denver, rental car. We're going to head out to, man, my brain is not working. What? Give me a couple ski towns.
Oh, like Vail?
Nope.
Stuff like that?
Closer.
In Arizona?
No, in
Colorado.
Colorado.
Oh,
guy. Welcome to
Colorado.
the conversation, Tony.
Sorry. Ooh.
Flew out to Denver, Arizona.
Yeah.
Yes, that one.
City by the Bay.
Yes, that one.
There's Vailbreakers, Breckenridge.
Breck. Yeah.
There
So we
you
go to
go.
Breck. I was gonna say the place with the creperie. Come on, everybody knows
Yeah,
the walk up
yeah.
creperie.
Yeah.
So we so I had surprised her. I was like, hey, so it's a Wednesday, right? And I'm like, or no, it's Tuesday, and I'm like, we leave Thursday. I've already taken care of all the stuff. Your job knows. It's all good, right? So that's Tuesday. I tell her we're going to Colorado. Wednesday, mind you, all I've booked for our entire time there is brewery tours and distillery tours.
Yes.
And so I tell her Tuesday, we leave in 2 days. On Wednesday, she tells me she's pregnant. And but look, my wife is a saint. She's like, we're still doing all the brewery tours and the distillery tours. We're still going to go. It'll be great. And I just won't partake because I'm pregnant. And I was like, that's how I know I got a great wife.
Yeah.
And but so all that to say, that's why we fly out. We fly out to Denver, scariest place imaginable. Not Denver,
To fly in.
well, yes, but no, just the airport. Scary horses and stuff.
Well, Denver, Arizona's pretty scary too.
What's that?
Denver, Arizona, that's pretty scary.
Terrifying. The problem is,
So I've heard.
when you see those mountains just rise up out of the desert, it's
Yeah,
very
what are we
terrifying.
doing? Yeah,
You never know. I heard you could do the pink Jeeps out there.
yeah. That's a lot
Right?
of
That's
fun.
the same?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
good. I'm so glad that you landed Denver and Arizona. Yeah, it's like, next we'll talk about John Denver.
Yeah.
But no, so we land and I go to get the rental car. And I'd never been out to Colorado at this point. I had no concept of the elevation changes I was about to take driving out.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's 71 is that main highway that runs out. I had no concept of it, right? So, of course, that's the sales tactic, right?
Subaru.
Oh, bro.
They have their own parking spots
Bro.
at like the ski places. The Subaru spots. If you have Subaru, you can park there.
Subaru is a thing. There are two groups of people that drive Subarus. One we shall not discuss. The other one is anybody, typically middle-aged men living in Colorado.
Yes.
And I'm just saying it's very real out there. But I just booked, I don't know, whatever, full-size sedan. I was 3 years married and very budget conscious.
I mean, you're not going for like the Dodge Charger and like all that stuff.
No, I wasn't trying to impress my wife. We were newly married. I was
Yeah,
still in the honeymoon
still
phase.
good.
It's fine.
On Sentra.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I was looking for. So we get there, and the lady's like, "Okay, so where are you guys going?" Which now I know standard sales stuff, right? Where are you heading?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going out to Breckenridge. Okay, just so you know, with that drive, a lot of elevation. You're gonna definitely want something that's powerful. So if you want use this as the upgrade technique, right?
Yep.
And she got me hook, line, and
Oh,
sinker.
yeah.
She threw in some free stuff. I don't remember what, but she threw in some free stuff. And I got the new Nissan Pathfinder, which, by the way, it's a great truck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic drive. But the whole time I was out there, I was like, I'm so happy that woman upsold me into this vehicle. So there's some needs for that. But I'm just like, I feel like it's easier to get a free upgrade on a flight than in a car.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. It really all just depends. Like, I had days where we were giving upgrades left and right, just because that's all the only cars we had. Like, we didn't have any compacts. People would put compacts. So I remember
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could get a lot of free upgrades just because
If you always book the
that's the fleet
compact.
you had in,
yeah,
you might get an Escalade and you booked a Chevy Aveo.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
or a smart car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those were fun.
Next on rental car industry insider secrets.
Yeah.
All right, so you're working for Hertz.
Yep.
One of them.
Hertz
Yeah,
rental car, yep.
they're all crap apparently.
Yeah.
Sorry, drive your own cars or just walk, people. Save the earth.
Yeah.
What? So all right, where do we go from there? How long were you in that industry?
I was at Hertz for probably six years.
That sounds awful.
Worked my way up, got into branch management, started managing their downtown location.
That's true. You got to drive a free car every night.
Oh yeah, I actually opened up the Columbia location. Like, we didn't have one there. Opened it up in a body shop and got it going up there. But yeah, so did
There's
that.
a car rental place in Columbia.
There was, yeah. I don't think Hertz is there anymore, but they've
didn't go well.
Well, it went well while I was there. No, I'm
Sure.
saying. Yeah. No,
Like, I was
I
the
have been
man.
on.
yeah, I crushed it. No, but yeah, so did that for a while, and then started seeing like a big ceiling and not really be able to go anywhere from that. So I'd been recruited by Liberty Mutual a few times and told them I wasn't really.
But that's where you got the sales itch, huh?
yeah,
Okay, so the car, at least working at the car rental joint, gives you the sales itch.
yeah. Well, I've always kind of been in sales because when I was at the gym, I was selling memberships too.
That's true. And then when you're a personal trainer, I mean, you have to, you
Yeah.
got to acquire your own clientele.
Oh yeah,
so.
and then even in college, I worked at GNC where we got commissions off certain things. So I don't think I've ever really had a job that didn't have some sort of commission or
Gotcha.
sales aspect to it. But yeah, so turned Liberty Mutual down a couple of times. Just like I wasn't interested. Like, I don't want to be an insurance agent. Like, why would I want to do that? And
Worst people.
I know they're terrible. But a good friend of mine I went to college with, we worked at Hertz together. He left to go to Liberty Mutual, and he was like, "Man, you really need to check it out." And so went and did a few interviews and ended up going to Liberty Mutual and working as an insurance agent.
So that's where you got started, is Liberty.
Sure did. Yeah.
So where in here do you meet your wife?
Yeah. So I met my wife actually playing adult kickball in Nashville.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?
So a good.
Still play adult
Yeah.
kickball.
Yeah. Actually, just quote unquote might have retired. In
Okay,
December.
okay.
But like,
We're
would you
40 now.
Yeah. 40 now, yeah. But yeah. So
you like tore like a tendon
I
in your
tore
toe
my
or
calf.
something?
Actually tore my calf in a kickball game.
Yeah.
I was in a
Couple
big.
Did you
years
miss?
Yeah. I hit it. I kicked the ball.
You kicked a ball and tore your calf?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, how the mighty fall.
There's
You
a
were
lot
a
of-
personal trainer to tearing a calf kicking a rubber ball.
Hey, the best thing though, the next week, another friend of mine did the exact same thing I did and tore his Achilles. So I was like, at least I didn't tear my Achilles. Like, I'm okay with that. But
Man,
yeah,
it's like being the second slowest person being chased by a bear.
exactly.
Yep.
Right. It's like not as bad.
That's
Exactly. Yeah.
okay. Hold on. So when do you meet your wife?
So met her in 2018.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
her-
you're well, it's 2025. You're hitting your 7 years into knowing her.
Yeah. Yeah. So her team used to beat the crap out of my team every time we play them. So I was like, I got to get to know these people.
You've started telling her like, we let you in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was trying to get to know you.
Oh yeah, well they beat us in a championship game. They're like, "Hey, do you mind taking a picture of our team?" And I was like, "Sure." So I'm taking selfies of me and my buddy the whole time. He's like, "Let me know if these pictures work." And just like handed them over to her, and then she ended up I was on like 3 teams at the time, and she ended up subbing on one of them the next night, and then they needed somebody the next week, and I subbed on her team, and it was like, "Hey, do you want to go grab a beer after the game and hang out?" And it all started from there.
Man, a little kickball goes a long way.
You know it.
See, parents, don't discourage your kids. Okay,
Exactly.
they learn valuable skills in their childhood.
Exactly.
What? All right. So that's where you meet her. So were you at Liberty at the time?
Yes.
Okay,
I
so
was.
that's where this lines up. So
Exactly.
you do 6 years at Liberty.
I was
become
3
profe-
years at Liberty.
Oh, 3 years at Liberty
Yeah.
doing professional kickballing.
Exactly. Yeah.
There should be a professional kickball.
I mean, we had sponsors at one point, so I mean, it's close, right?
Really? I want to play kickball.
There's a team called Santa's Ice Cold Kickers, and Santa's Pub in Nashville was their sponsor. And so after every game, they'd go and have free beer at Santa's Pub and hang out.
Do you think we could get like Jefferson's Kick'ems or something, and then just go to Jefferson's and get a beer afterwards and some wing dings? I don't care what you say, man. The wings over there are on point.
The wings
I'm
are
in
pretty
for
good.
free beer.
Yeah, look,
That's all you got to say, really. Right?
look, free beer and order chicken wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We played sand volleyball together. This psycho over here would order wings out to the sand.
Oh,
And that, to me, never made any sense because I don't know how you keep the sand out of the wings. I get it, but there's sand everywhere when you're playing volleyball.
yeah.
That's true.
Everywhere.
Uh,
It's like taking wings to the beach and just hanging out. What are you doing there?
but-
Yeah.
So maybe kickball is where we need to evolve to, Gav. Like,
Sounds dangerous.
there's no great. That's true.
That's
High injury rate, and not like a pulled muscle, torn calves and Achilles.
Yeah.
I will say the first game I ever played in, we're walking to the field, and I hear this like crash, and I hear this like guy on the ground like, oh, like I'm like, what's going on? I look over, he was the catcher, ball thrown to him. This girl just runs through him, and he breaks his leg. And I look at my friend, and I'm like, what are we signing up for?
Yeah,
man?
he got
Like,
roller derbied.
Yeah, I was like, what are we doing here? Luckily, that was the only big injury I ever had from kickball was when I tore my calf. So that's not too bad. I started in 2012, so I went a long time without having a big injury.
Dude, that's wild. I want to get involved in. We should start Is there a kickball here in Franklin? Is
Maybe.
there a kickball league?
I'm sure there is.
Maybe, I don't know.
The ones I was in were always in Nashville, but I'm sure there's one in Franklin somewhere.
We got to find that. I would do that. Tony, could we get you to play kickball?
You could probably get me to play kickball.
I'll do some Googling later. We'll find
Gavin,
something.
would you do it?
I'm always down for
And you're in Nolansville now. You could come out of retirement.
I'm out of
into the
retirement
Franklin
for the
League.
Williamson County.
You're
League.
going to really need to rehab that calf, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How long? That was
he's-
just.
But he's still been playing.
Yeah,
He
I
healed
just
up
stopped
and
playing.
went
Like
back.
probably, so that we had a Christmas tournament that we had won the last 2 years in a row. So I was like, let's play for a third time. Let's win it, and I'll call it a day. And we got to the
You're just trying to
semifinals.
John Elway
Yeah.
the kickball league?
Oh,
or
yeah.
what?
Well, we got to the semifinals and lost, and it was like, so am I done? And Rachel's like, yes, you're done. You're 40 years old. And I was like, there's guys on our team that are like 46, 47. What are you talking about?
She stopped playing when?
They
She
have-
stopped playing probably 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Those guys that are 47 have much more elastic calves than you do.
Oh yeah. Well, one of the guys actually plays in like rec hockey leagues, and like one of the guys on his team's like an ex-predator. They're like, it gets real serious, and he's just constantly playing stuff like that. It's
Yes,
wild.
I'm in for that.
Yeah.
What? All right. So you go to Liberty though.
Yep.
So you get into insurance.
Yep.
Let's be fair. Insurance is as boring as it gets.
It is.
Right. Like just like when you kind of think of it, the overview. And no shade. Mortgage is same thing, right? I mean, we're very much in the same world of like everybody needs it. Nobody wants to talk about it.
Exactly.
But like, so you get into insurance and you just immediately you're like, I found my home.
To a degree. So when I was interviewing, my manager at the time was asking me like a lot of the nonprofit stuff I do, like what do you do out in the community and things like that. And I work pretty closely with a camp called Camp Horizon. It's a local camp for children with cancer. Tony's done a lot of stuff with us for that, and he was like, "Yeah, we'd actually love for you to do more of that, and like we would pay you to be out on a Saturday going and doing stuff." I was like, "You're gonna support me doing this stuff like during the week and all stuff?" And so when we had those conversations, I was able to jump into that. That's when I finally was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Because growing up here, I'm passionate about Nashville. I love the Middle Tennessee area, and so anyway,
Gotcha.
if I can have a job that lets me give back to that community, like I'm all about it.
So tell us about those organizations, though.
So
Because
Camp-
I know recently here, right before, if I script the timeline, forgive me, but like right before Christmas, you had just cut a check you were raising funds.
Oh, yeah.
You were able to cut a check.
That was for the American Cancer Society.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like that, like I know that you do some of that just because I've kind of seen it from from the outskirts, right? Just kind of seen some of the posting about it or whatnot.
Yeah.
But like you said, you're passionate about organizations that are here and giving back to the community. So like, what organizations? Where'd you get started at? Tell us about those.
Yeah, so camp's actually one of my favorite ones to work with. So growing up in church, one of my good friends actually had cancer as a kid, went to camp. We always heard stories about camp and how much fun he was having. And really what their camp is about is giving kids that have cancer the summer camp experience. Like they have oncologists that donate their time to be there. So if something happens, they can be taken care of. And then they also have a separate camp for their siblings to go. So like all the siblings come in, or around other kids that are dealing with the same stuff they're dealing with. And so growing up around that, you know, it was really cool to see how it affected him and his family. And then I remember we were hanging out probably a couple years before I started at Liberty, and like, yeah, you know, a lot of our funding's gone now, so we've created a board and we're raising money ourselves to keep it up and running. And so I think I was with Tony and was talking about like, I need to do something to help them raise money. And we ended up putting on a cornhole tournament to raise money for Camp Horizon. And so it's kind of started from there. Like, let's do more things for camp.
When did you start doing that?
How long ago was that? Was that like 2017 maybe?
Yeah, it's pre-COVID, so it's probably
It was 2018 because
I think it
Rachel
was
helped us.
2018. Yeah, because you and I first met in 2016,
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah. So the first tournament was probably 2018, and we had maybe 20, 30 teams sign up. You know, not a huge deal. The next year we ended up having like 60 something teams. We had probably 300 people show up just to be there and hang out and raise money. I think we ended up raising like $25,000 for camp that day.
Do you still do the cornhole tournament?
No, we haven't done it in a while. So when COVID hit, we weren't allowed to get that many people together.
Hold on. Can you bring it back?
We can't. I've got all the boards.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand. I'm always looking for things I can win at.
Well, I was talking to Russell. He's like, "Do you want to get the back up and running soon?" I was like, "Let's
Who's
talk
Russell?
about it." Russell's the camp director that I grew up with.
So where'd you host this thing at? I'm
Tailgate Brewery in West Nashville.
Have you guys been over there yet?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you, we were talking earlier before we ever walked into this room.
Yeah.
When it comes to pizza in the Nashville area, being from Chicago, everybody always tries to be something, and the only places worth eating at are the ones who just know who they are and they just do their thing, right?
Yeah.
They're not trying to be a New York style pie or a Chicago style pizza or any of that, right? Detroit style pizza. They're not trying to do any of that. And Tailgate Brewery does a pretty good job of just being like, hey, we know that we're a brewery that has some fire or whatever they call like brick oven pizza.
Yeah.
Like, and their stuff, I like it. They got some good flavor combos. They do toppings right.
Yeah.
So no, that's a solid pizza over there. Tailgate's good,
There's
man.
some of my
I
favorite
think
pizza.
that's Lori's favorite pizza. My wife's favorite pizza in town. She loves it.
Kevin James
Helps that there is a good
Jamie
beer
loves
to
it
go
too,
with
that's
it.
right. Yeah.
There's a good beer to go with it.
Oh yeah.
That orange wheat.
The orange wheat's really good.
Orange wheat.
Orange wheat.
Wheat.
Yeah.
So okay, dude. Not only do you need to do that, we're in.
Okay, I'll talk.
Yeah.
Russell's been wanting me to do something again. So when COVID hit, a family that I know took over the cornhole tournament because they live up in White House and they had a massive field. They're like, it's private property. We can do whatever we want out here.
Yeah.
And so they took it over. And so that's why we were like, well, let's not do 2 tournaments a year. Let's try to find something else to do.
They're not still doing it up there, are they?
No, they didn't do it this year. This is the first time they didn't do it. So they had a lot of other family stuff going on. So it just wasn't a good time
to bring it back.
So I think we've got an opportunity. We've been talking about doing one through Connect Nashville, like a fundraiser somehow, just to keep giving back to them and helping them out. So we actually got to figure that out, what we're going to do. But
what were the logistics of doing the tournament though? Like people paid fees to register, and that's the bulk of the fundraising. Or
so the last one we did when we raised all the money, it was like $100 for a team. Tailgate donated their space. It was normally like $3,000 to rent out Tailgate, but they was like, we'll donate it. They gave like 50% off food and stuff like that. And so so what we could do is we could buy food ahead of time and then like make a little bit of money back on the back end there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would do we'd have shirts, we'd sell shirts,
Sponsorships.
like we'd have corporate sponsorships on the back of the shirts, things like that.
Made a lot of money in the sponsorships.
Yeah.
Did we do like silent auction stuff too?
Yeah, we did some silent auction. I was
forget.
terrible with silent
It's so
auction,
long
so it
now.
wasn't big.
Yeah.
But then we also had like games, like we had the longest toss. You donate $5 for 2 tosses, things like that going on all day long.
Mm-hmm. That was actually when Elijah was born.
Oh,
remember? Because I had to miss it.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about
August 23rd. He was born.
He was born like the day before.
The day before.
Like
I could go to
doing
the last
cornhole
one.
tournament outside in the dead of August.
Oh,
Well, no, this was the last one was inside. They actually opened up like the brewer, like where they brew the beer.
Gotcha.
And we had tons of boards.
I was about to say, guys, that feels real sweaty.
It was hot.
The first year was.
yeah.
The first
None
year
of
was
us
in
are
there,
small enough to be outside all day in August.
Oh yeah, the first year was in their pavilion, so at least you had some shade,
But
and
it
some
was
wind
hot.
kind of coming
Yeah.
through. But it wasn't. It was still really hot.
That's toasty.
Nashville summer. Is,
Dude, so if we could put it inside, I mean, I think that's a home run. I have to be just here. Full warning, right? Tony and Gavin know this about me. I immediately in my head want to make it something that I want it to be.
Yeah.
That's not healthy all the time. I'm well aware of this. But I see this as like a big old tournament during the day that ends with a concert at night.
Yeah.
And
Maybe we could get your friends. To
Maybe.
donate
I'll
a
see.
I was gonna say I mean look,
I know some people too.
I
Maybe.
I think sitting in this room we can come up with some
Yeah.
really fun musicians to line that up to have a fun night.
Well, they donated something.
I think we go music all day. Live music all day.
Yeah.
Big party at night
We could
afterwards.
maybe get Jody. I don't want to say the full name. out
Well,
loud.
sure, but that's where it's the
Yeah.
don't commit people, man.
know.
We're recording it.
No one knows who that is. Well,
Yes,
no
they
one knows
do.
who I'm talking about.
No one knows anymore because you moved your microphone away from your mouth mid conversation. It's not how these work,
Take a
buddy.
drink. I had to take a drink. Yeah.
Grapefruit, bros.
Grapefruit.
I don't know. That's what you said. I think
know.
you're making stuff up.
No.
I like to just talk like this all the time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Gavin's listening to this in his ears, mad at me. He turned me down as I peek all the things. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
But we probably have good connections now from the ACS things I've done. I mean, like,
True. I think
one
we
of-
could really knock it out. now.
yeah.
Do a huge one.
Well, one of the GMs at ML Rose was at the last ACS event that I did, and he was like, "Anything y'all need, let me know. We'll set it up
Oh,
at
that'd be
ML
sweet.
Rose."
So
Could maybe do it at that new location out there in
Maybe
Franklin.
He
He's got the parking.
he does
lot
the
out
8th
there.
Avenue South one, but I mean, I'm sure he's got connections. You know. Yeah.
We'll have to mull this over.
Yeah,
off
we're gonna need
air.
to mull this over. But tell me,
Yeah.
so I don't know a lot about. So what's the organization? Who's Randy Randall?
Russell. Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Russell.
It's close. It's close.
Yeah, I was so close. I was wrong. So Russell runs. So what's the organization?
It's called Camp Horizon.
Camp Horizon,
Yeah.
right? So is like. Like I know they run the camps, but is it just a camp? Do they then also partner with any like local hospitals or clinics or
Yeah.
research stuff?
They
Or
actually work really closely with what's down in Memphis, and I'm gonna be an idiot for not thinking about.
St. Jude.
St. Jude's. Yeah,
Yeah.
they work with St. Jude's a
Okay.
lot, and so to go to camp as a camper, it's free. Everything's paid for the
Gotcha.
campers, and so they would bring a lot of kids up from St. Jude's. They go and do a lot of stuff with St. Jude's. Their main goal is to be able to buy a piece of property that they can then like rent out to other things over the year to bring in more money for all of it.
create a camp that they can use to bless other people, but generate a little revenue to fund
To
the
give more back.
organization. and give
Exactly.
more back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their big goal. And so that was a big reason why I want to step in. Like, how can we help you get to that goal and raise money for that?
Gotcha. And they're still obviously pushing towards that. Russell
Exactly.
is,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Randall.
Yeah, not Randall. Randall's not pushing for it.
No, Randall's not doing much. Real non-team
Randall's
player.
Randall's pretty
Yeah,
lazy.
that Randall
Yeah,
guy.
he sucks.
Yeah.
Dude, so that's where, yeah, I think there's a big opportunity there, and if we can help, man,
Yeah.
I think we get on board with that, and like my brain will run wild on this stuff. Like
I could already see your
bring
wheels
it
are
in
turning.
and bring some families from the area in that have already had their positive impact to give
Yeah.
testimonies, so that it's like it's so important. And I'm sure Russell would, he'd vouch to it, right? But like being able to tell that, have people go, it's not just what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Being able to have those folks show up and go, here's what they've already done for us, and you guys participating, giving, helping is what goes a long way to make sure other families get the care that we got.
Well, that's partially why I bought in the first part, because I did like a fundraiser with Liberty, and it was called like a quote for donation. Like every quote that I got, they would donate $10 towards camp. And I remember going out and delivering a check to them, and it was hearing the kids' stories and the family stories. Like, how do you not want to do more of this? Like, you hear how that camp just in general has affected so many kids. It's like, how do you not want to get involved and do more? And so that's when I was talking with Tony and a couple other people. Like, that's when that whole thing started. It was like, let's get a cornhole tournament up and going. Let's have fun.
Man.
Yeah.
I got a lot of ideas around that. And if it's not a tailgate brewery, then we just bring a bunch of food trucks in.
Let's go figure it out wherever.
Oh, yeah, 100% we figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, if we put it in Fairview, but I mean, then everybody's got to drive. If we put it in Fairview, we'll drag all the chairs out of that. Drag all the chairs out of the sanctuary, except for the stadium seating in the back, so there's still seating for people to hang.
Oh,
we fill
wow.
we fill that place with boards. I'm committing Ian right now that we're emptying that place out of
Pastor
chairs.
Ian.
He'll be on board. I brought
Yeah.
things to him where I'm like, hey man, what about this? He's like, sounds awesome. Let's do it. Like when it's community stuff, he loves big ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, how do you not want to support the community? You
oh,
know?
100%.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
Plenty of parking, stage, sound.
well, and
it's
messing
true.
around and like
Everything.
messing around and being like we're the church and then not being the church.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, we know all about that.
That's a story.
That's a story
Oh,
for-
we-
do tell.
No.
That's a story for
This
not
is
the podcast.
This is a story we cannot tell on the
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
Come on, this is
No.
what I want on the podcast.
Yeah,
Give me the
yeah.
credit.
No, we really
We
cannot.
yeah, I probably shouldn't
No,
have said
but we'll
anything.
tell you after.
Yeah,
We really
yeah.
cannot.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
I will secretly record that conversation, and I'll put that out on one of my burner accounts.
Yeah, no, this would.
Also, I've never had a burner account. I don't even know how to make one.
yeah,
Yeah, me
no,
either.
this would
Yeah.
not go well.
No, yeah, we'd probably be in trouble.
Man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, see, now I don't. Yeah, I just want to know that story.
Now he's like, let's end the podcast, guys. It's
All right.
over.
No, man.
I'll give you this little piece.
Ooh, see,
Josh
you
and I-
linger on something long
no, no.
enough, and it's coming out.
This will
It's a
give you.
teaser.
Josh and I are on a list at a local church with the security. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep.
And this is coming from a worship leader in town who's done a lot around town.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, let's clarify that Tony's literally spent most of his time here on staff and on stage at church.
100%.
So
Yeah.
And I went to church, so I mean, like, wait, no,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I mean, I did, but yeah.
Yeah.
do we got to get you and Rachel driving out to Fairview? Come to One Church Home. Man.
Oh, I'd love him to.
Come
You're in
on.
Nolansville now. It's only an hour.
It's only an hour drive to church every Sunday.
You go to Gavin's church.
Rolling Hills.
He's in Rolling Hills. It's
Yeah.
way closer
Okay.
for you.
Yeah,
on.
for sure.
Just down the road.
There we
Right.
go.
I mean,
Love that.
A little more down the road because he's in Nolensville. But
There's
Yeah.
a campus there, I think.
Nolensville's
probably.
not far.
oh, is there a campus in Nolensville?
Oh,
that
nice.
makes
Okay.
sense.
Let's go to that one.
We're actually church shopping now that we're in Nolensville, so we'll have
Come
to
on
check
now.
it out. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm real anti-church shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we want to
Uh,
find something that fits. So she grew up Catholic. I grew up Methodist. And so we're trying to find something that fits both of us together. And that's why we
You
want to go
tried
check stuff out.
Lutheran?
That's why I was gonna say, just throw it both out the window and come over to the charismatic side.
There we go. Yeah.
To be fair, One Church Home may be charismatic to me coming from the north.
Yeah.
You guys are very quiet compared to everybody
Compared
else.
to compared to some.
It's really funny. The first time I walked into One Church Home, they were still in the school,
Okay.
right? And it was the first day they were One Church Home. It was first Sunday they were One Church Home.
When we changed the name.
So I
Just
quite,
after all the
Yeah.
so I can honestly say I never attended Grace Chapel Fairview.
Okay.
I only ever attended One Church Home. My first time there was the day they announced the name change. They like rolled it out. There was swag. I was like, "What is happening?" Jeez, gonna turn over tables. No, I'm just kidding. They were very above board on it.
Throwing T-shirts into the crowd.
T-shirt cannons.
T-shirt cannons.
Bro, it was in elementary school. It was not that big. No one needs a T-shirt cannon. If you can't throw it to the back, it's because
Yeah.
you need surgery
I
on
mean,
your arm.
but who doesn't need a T-shirt cannon?
I would
let's
love
be
to have
honest.
one. True.
Like, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I'd try to turn it into a snowball cannon.
I want
but
one
it's
at Connect
fun.
Nashville so I can like shoot like at meetings. Like you win a shirt today. Yeah.
Nah, man. People just try to tell you about their weird wrapped Cybertrucks. So weird. She's super sweet, but I just
She's amazing.
It's
Yeah,
it's
But anyways,
good on
yeah.
her.
Yeah.
you
good on
walk
her.
in the
Back to
first
the
day. It's
story.
one
I
church
walk
home.
in first day. It's One
Gonna
Church
save you
Home,
right
man,
now.
dude. And so at my church, my old church up in Illinois, right? Like, great church. We loved our church, but we didn't realize how. What word do I want to use? How.
Reserved.
It's probably a safe one. Reserved, everyone was during worship, during everything. There was no, while church is going on, you always had the one person who wanted to clap, but they also didn't know what a beat was. All right, so that was always that. My wife would always,
They're always the best.
my wife and I would always have a good laugh about, you're clapping wrong.
Mhm.
You're not even clapping in a rhythm that's offbeat. You're just sporadically, your hands are making contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But then once the pastor took the stage, you sat quietly.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't an interaction.
No.
This was a you talk, we listen. That was my only experience with church, man. I'd never been in anything where someone in the crowd wanted to also talk. Be
Okay.
talking back.
Interesting.
So we walk into church, we sit down, and some of our neighbors are there with us too, and and they're like, "Oh, we love it," and they're like, "Might be a little different than what you're used to," and I'm like, "Okay," and they're like, "But and one of our neighbors had she had paraphrased it down and was just like, "Here's how I'd summarize it. These are Reformed charismatics. Now, don't use biblical historical Reformed here, right? Let's
Yeah.
use the throwaway version of Reformed here. These are the former charismatics who have gone non-denominational, right? I'm like, okay. There's a mosh pit in the middle of woo boys and girls that I'm like, they may all have audible threats.
Okay.
All of them. And we were sitting back there like, this
That is so funny to me.
it's so different.
Oh yeah.
We had no idea, but we liked it. And then like up north, 3 songs,
Yeah.
3 message, 2 songs, go home.
Yeah.
Hour,
Oh yeah.
done.
Yeah. You knew you were out there for the Titans game.
Hour.
Right.
You're definitely
Yeah,
not
yeah.
anywhere for a Titans game up
Yeah.
north. Hour. You're done. You go to 8:30 service, 9:30 you're in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Right? Or you're stuck in the lobby drinking coffee talking to too many people because your husband won't leave. Sorry, Maggie. We sang for 45 minutes and I was like, my feet are sore. I wore the wrong shoes. I have to consciously wear the right shoes to church.
I've got my church shoes.
I gotta, yeah. So like my boots are fine, but if it's summertime, like I can't wear flip flops to church. One, because there is a new dress code standard that the South has introduced to us, but also, like just like a regular pair of just like tennis shoes. Nah, it doesn't cut it, man. Doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
We were blown away by how things go down here.
Yeah.
Now we've come to love it because it's
Yeah.
not, but it was just so foreign to us, man. Like we could not get our head around it. But that's why you should come to our church.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
that-
I grew up in a church like that too. I mean, like the pastor does the sermon. You don't talk. Like everybody's just quiet and listening. And, yeah. Reading. Okay.
yeah, uh-huh.
Like that's all. So like I'm not used to that either.
Yeah, it was wild. Lot of woo boys and girls in our church. I love it. They have toned down since we've gotten into the building.
A little bit.
Are the woo boys and girls like the woo girls at the bachelorette parties on Broadway?
Yeah,
Like-
but there's no alcohol involved.
Okay,
it's just like Holy Spirit
sacrament?
filled. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're just. I mean, like, and I love it, and yeah, a bunch of them become friends of ours.
Oh,
I've gotten to
yeah,
know
yeah.
a lot of them, but they're just, I'd imagine, right, when you're raised, if you're raised, in one of the many charismatic folds of Christian denominations, like that's just what you do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to reaffirm your pastor with one of a handful of standard phrases. You got to throw an amens out there. Preach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yep. Yep.
That's a Tonyism right
That
there.
is. I hear that.
Tony
all the time.
nonstop.
Yeah.
If Tony's not on stage, Tony is sitting there. But come on. And I'm, Tony, I know where he's sitting now. I have
We know.
audio located where Tony's at. He's in the second section of the far left side,
Yeah.
just yelling from the background. But no, man, like but dude, you should come to our church. Just drive.
We'll
Who
come check
cares?
it out sometime.
You don't need to go to Rolling Hills just because it's local and convenient and a wonderful place. Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense.
But I am very anti-church shopping.
Yeah.
Here's the simple version of it.
Yeah.
Right? The simple version of it is, and Gavin's over there probably cringing because I've given him a lot of crap about this. Not that he's like pro shopping or anything, but for some reason, he's my best friend, so he just has to hear all of my gripes about everything.
Okay.
You know what really grinds my
I was just thinking of Peter. He literally gets all my Peter Griffin gear grinding.
There you go. Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's that the reason that we're at our church, right? First and foremost, for me, it was like I just need a church that's going to preach the truth, right? And not the truth as I like it or I'm opinionated to it, as the Bible is written, right? Just sound theology, right?
Yeah.
That's all. That's it. And I need to know that they're going to serve my family well because I want my family to be a part of the community of our
Yes.
church. We are called into a community that should be more than show up and go home.
Yep. 100%.
If you preach the truth and my family is well served, speaking of family, who do we got here? Oh, it's Maggie. I'm going to do this. Hey, hun.
Actually, I better check. See if Rachel's probably up.
I do love you. I'm also going to tell you that I'm in the middle of recording a podcast and answered you in the middle of the podcast.
You should put her on speakerphone.
Oh, hey, good news for the breakfast. Maggie has secured 6 dozen eggs for us from Faith.
The Lord hath
The
provided.
Lord hath
He knew.
provided. Okay. All right.
Never leave your seed begging for bread or scrambled eggs at Mintzburg.
What's great is I give her access to my calendar on purpose because I just, in a transparency thing and honoring my wife, she should always know where I'm at or what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Should she choose to look. And I say that because she does not ever choose to look. So
Lori just tracks me on my phone.
Yeah, my
That's
wife does the same.
terrifying.
Yeah, she's got that. Find my phone.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I have no idea how if you turn it on, turn it off. But she's like, "Hey, while you're at such and such," and I'm like, "How do you know?"
that's terrifying.
She just tracks me.
Well, Rachel
I could
does.
care
Like,
less.
I was
Keeps a drone overhead at all times.
I was at
Yeah.
our East Nashville meeting on Wednesday, and Rachel didn't text me to say when are you. She said, "I want this, please, for lunch. Thank you." And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Let me order that real fast."
Telling you, it's not
Yeah.
the track
Lori
my
and
phone.
Rachel
They've got a
cut
drone
me
up
the
ahead,
phone.
and if
Yeah.
you don't get that lunch or you don't bring her whatever, it's like, all right, get eggs or predator strike.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like that's your options, right?
Well, I remember when Rachel turned it on, she was like, "I'm tired of you go to these happy hours and you just talk forever. It ends at 8. You're still there at 9." And I'm like, "Where are you? Are you okay?" And you're not looking at your phone. So she's like, "I just want to know that, okay, you're still there. Fine. Okay."
This
Like,
is notorious for the happy
I'm
hours
terrible
that
about
we
it.
host because they're from 6 to 8 p.m. And at 8 p.m., me, Rachel, Sam, we're ready to go eat because we're hungry now.
yeah.
But Josh
Just-
can talk.
I just keep going.
He
I
just-
get energy.
people
from
get
being
it. You do,
there.
you do.
Yeah,
and people pull out of it.
Well,
He'll
I
talk.
left your guys' Holly Jolly Happy Hour. And I don't even remember what I had that night, but I was going back to run the Bible study.
Yeah, that's right.
So I came early, went to the Bible study, hosted the Bible study. I get home at 10 o'clock, and I've got one of the guys on our Bible study was like, "Hey, man, I've got this thing for Tony." I'm like, "I'll bring it to him." And so I'm driving home. I text him. I'm like, "Hey, man, if you're still up, I've got blah, blah, blah for you." He goes, I get a text like 30 minutes later. He's like, "Oh, just leaving Mojo's." Like, "Oh, you guys are eating tacos. This ended at 8. It's 2.5 hours later. You're still eating tacos."
we ate tacos, and I think they closed at like 10-ish or
Yeah.
whatever. And so then we left. We walked out of Mojo's and we just sat. I think we got Jenny's, didn't we?
Yeah, went to Jenny's.
Jenny's was closing, so we all got a little ice cream, and then we just sat on the common area and talked for like another half
Tony,
hour.
I like that you went carnivore from January 2nd to December 1st, and then you were like, "Give me tacos and ice cream."
Oh yeah.
Let's
That's-
go.
Oh, I blew it up.
Oh, yeah.
In December.
Yeah.
I'm back on now.
Yeah.
I
It's
blew
good.
it.
Cheat months
All right.
are a thing, you know.
It's great.
So,
Yeah.
but all right. So I'm so bad about actually completing a thought. So the church, right, needs to teach sound theology. Needs to,
Yeah.
take care of my family. And then for me, I just want to then get to, after I know that's there, I want to then get to know the pastors, right? Just
Yeah.
build a relationship, right? The relationships matter, but those other two parts got to come first, because you should never go to a church because you like the pastor, because then the pastor leaves and then you're not happy, and that's not why you should ever be at a church, right? But you can't accomplish learning, how do they teach, what do they teach, are they good to my family, all right, so that community piece. And then once I've got those two, then go and explore the relationship with those pastors, showing up for a Sunday. And I know some people that they're like, "Yeah, we spent 6, 7, 8 weeks attending this church, and it's just, we moved on." I get that, right? It's a good amount of time to explore
That's
that.
more of what I mean when we talk, like, go check out some places, like that kind of a thing.
And that's where, like, true church shoppers, that they're like, "Well, we went to this one on this Sunday, and then next week we're going to go to this one, and next week we're going to go to that one." It's, no, you're looking for the one that you just happened to line up a couple warm and fuzzies based on, like, how you felt, what they said that day. And it's like, that doesn't work. Like, that's not what it was ever meant to be. But then, not to go down that rabbit trail, but unfortunately, a lot of churches and a lot of preachers are playing that game, going, "Well, we just got to capture them on that one-time first impression."
Yeah.
Hence the reason they have a first impressions team.
Ooh.
Yeah, like, ooh. Or they call it fit.
Yeah.
And then they call it the fit team, and it bothers me because now it's the first impressions team. And I hate when people spend so long with their, with their little letters that they forget what they stand for. Anyways, I am totally off the rails now. But all right, so you guys how long you been in Owensville?
So we actually just moved out there. Like, December 12th was our closing date.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Man,
Really excited about it.
so why Nolensville?
Well, so
Like, I don't know anything about Nolensville. Every time I've driven through there, I feel like there's not a real town. There's just, like, everyone has a lot of acreage, and I'm a little jealous of that.
yeah, it's growing. Like, there's a lot going in over there, but
And then there's that barbecue place we ate at.
Martin's.
Oh, no, but I've also heard about Martin's.
Okay.
I've heard Martin's a spot.
Martin's is good, yeah.
Martin's really.
No, like the old, like, plantation looking building.
Oh,
Yeah, it was real good.
That's a barbecue
I
spot.
can't think of the name.
It was like
May not be barbecue.
it's like barbecue fine dining
I think I had shrimp and grits.
meats.
Oh,
Southern
I don't
meat
know-
is
I
that?
don't
That's
know
not
it all
Merle
that
Bell's,
well.
is it? No, I think that's
it's on the Ming Drag. I know what
yeah.
you're talking about.
Totally
I
has a
don't
pig
know
on the
name
sign.
of
That
it.
is
Yeah,
correct.
I don't know the names of everything out there yet. We're still trying to
Yeah.
learn it all. But yeah,
I
that
don't want to
yeah.
spill that on me. Hold on, I'm gonna look.
See,
'cause-
this is where we need to be like,
That's where we-
Jamie, pull that up.
The
right?
Joe Rogan.
Gavin,
Yeah,
Gavin,
pull it up
pull
on
that
the-
up.
Come on,
on the
Gav,
screen.
get the restaurant. Nolansville restaurant. Dude, I mean, it's like a place that everybody should eat at. It's a definite must. See, we need to go to Martin's. That's right there on the corner.
Martin's is good.
Good brisket.
Where in the world is Carmen San Diego? All right, Kevin, find that restaurant, dude. You gotta. I just want to know because I want to go back. We should all go.
I'm in.
It's fantastic. We went, Maggie and I, and then Gavin and Sarah. Was Lucy around yet?
No.
Do we not
She's
drag?
pregnant.
That makes sense. But yeah, killer place, dude. Not too big either, but real tasty. But I had never gone out to Nolansville, and it's dark. We're driving out there, and I was just, you can fall off a road real quick.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm usually like Tony and Sam make fun of me because I'm usually the guy like when the snow hits or something. I'm like, we're gonna keep meeting. Who cares? Like, let's make it happen. Now in Nolansville, I'm like, some of these roads, I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not leaving the house. Like, I'm gonna slide off the road into a ditch. Like, I'm good.
Josh is
Yeah.
the guy we're like, it's Christmas on Wednesday. Maybe we shouldn't have, our Wednesday meeting. And Josh's like, I don't know. Maybe somebody will show up.
Maybe somebody needs a referral. Let's see what we can do. Like, yeah.
All right, so tell me about. So you guys then, when did you create Nashville Connect? Because that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So where did that come from? Where's the birth, brain, baby, child thing of Nashville
Well,
Connect?
so we met on a golf course.
No, you did not.
Yeah.
Yes.
This guy's never golfed.
Yeah.
We didn't golf that day either.
No, we were sponsoring a hole for a real estate agent that we thought was going to be there with us. Turned out he wasn't.
You guys got bait and switched by a
Oh.
realtor.
Yeah.
Hard, man.
Do we get to mention the name of the agent?
I don't.
think so.
We better not.
Oh, I was
don't
going to say,
remember
if
his
you have
name.
negative feelings about the agent, let's not mention that.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't mention it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not seen him in
Yeah.
I don't know how long.
No, well, then maybe he's not a realtor anymore.
Yeah.
Because if he ain't
He
heard.
was an older guy. He was probably what in his 50s, 60s,
Probably something like that,
maybe
yeah.
at that point.
So you both got invited to sponsor a hole with him, and then you two ran the hole?
Oh yeah. Well, fun. Yes. So I remember because I tailgate a lot for like football. And I was like, "Do you need me to bring a tent? What do you need me to bring? Like all that." He's like, "Just bring like a case of water." I was like, "Do I need to bring a table?" He's like, "No, not at all." I was like, "Okay."
He's
so
like, I'll have everything else for you guys. I'll have you all set up. You'll be fine.
So-
All right, just bring your tchotchkes. That's what he
Yeah.
told me. Just bring your tchotchkes.
so I'm there, and the guy like whoever is the golf course is like taking me out to the hole, and I show up and I see Tony with like a massive thing of cups and pens and business cards, and I'm like, I'm
Just
gonna go-
standing in the random golf course.
Yeah. I was like,
Waiting.
No table, no tent, no nothing.
Nothing. They take me out to the hole. I get there like 30 minutes early. They drive me out to the hole in the golf course, and he's like, "All right, here's the place." And I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." So I'm standing there, and I'm just like, "What do I do right now?" Because there's nothing. It's just me and my stuff. And then like 15
You're
minutes
just like
later,
a stranded tourist.
they
in the
bring
middle of a
they
golf
bring
course.
Josh up and drop him off. Now I think you did bring a folding table. 'Cause you're like, I don't know if
I had one in my car just in case.
yeah,
like,
I
need
don't
to have
know.
this in the car.
Should take this just in case.
Yeah,
But you showed up with like a 24 pack of water.
yeah, that's just a case of water.
We had no cooler or anything, so it's just hot water.
You
And
have
this
hot
is,
water and cups.
And this
Yeah.
is, it's in the
It's
summer.
like August,
June,
July,
July, August,
July,
somewhere in
yeah.
there. And
Tell me for the golf outing, you never got a tent or a table or chairs.
we got nothing.
We had a chair. They brought a chair out for us. I remember that.
Did they? Oh,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
remember. Yeah.
You spent a whole golf. So, and those golf outings, they move so slow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the
7
dreaded,
hours, 6, 7
I was gonna
hours.
say, that's the dreaded 6-hour round of golf that
Yeah.
no actual golfer wants to play.
But you see Josh's hair,
No, I don't.
no hat.
Because
nothing.
I thought there was a tent. I was like, oh, I don't need to bring a hat
Yeah.
out there.
Do I need a canopy or a table? Nope, I'll have it all taken.
I'll
care of.
have
got-
it all taken
Do
care
you
of.
ever confront this guy about
I
dropping?
think-
the ball?
Oh, Well, so we're standing out there. Josh brings the stuff. We've got nothing. We don't really know what's supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
Well, come to find out, what it was supposed to be was when you had a hole, like you sponsored a hole. Each hole was supposed to be a different country.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't even remember what ours was technically supposed to be because we never heard anything about that. And so we find out from, as people start coming up, they're like, well, what do you got? And we're like,
Business
Josh is
cards?
like, I got a bottle of water and, and this. And they're like, oh. And then somebody, I think, told us, like, oh, well, yeah, the next hole is China. So, and then we're like, what do you mean by that? And so they like would sponsor. And so you were supposed to go like all out. So some of these things were like Scotland had like a whole like thing of Guinness and this whole setup and doing this whole whatnot. And they had it all decorated out and they're offering like beer and little foods. And I mean, just they really made it cool.
One had like tequila shots. You'd have to take a tequila shot before you drove. stuff
Yeah,
like
or
that.
something like that.
You offered him a warm bottle of water
A
and
warm
and
bottle
an
of
empty
water.
cup.
And a
and
business card.
yeah, a business card and a pen. You had
And a
pens.
pen. I had
yeah.
these pens.
In case you need to write down your scores later, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the bro drives up.
oh,
Because he's like, I'm gonna be golfing with whoever he brought, and so then he drives up.
he comes up. He's like, "So tell us why we should use X brokerage for what?" I mean, like, we don't know. We don't work for him.
Oh yeah.
Like we were angry at this
He was
point.
like, oh, and he brings his sign,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, I wanted to
Oh, I
have
forgot
this
to put my
here.
sign out here. Here
So he brings his sign and plops it in the thing. He's like, all right, Josh, tell me why I need to use Liberty Mutual.
Yeah.
Sell me, Tony. Tell me why I need to use such and such mortgage. Sell me right now. And I said, I ain't selling you on.
You can't cuss in the podcast, Tony.
Well, I kind of mouthed it off, but I was like, I ain't selling nothing.
Yeah.
We've been out here for 5 hours at this point, burning alive.
Well, the best part though,
Yeah.
like we both told him we had to be out of there by a certain time. Like you had to be out of there by like 2 or something like that.
Oh no, it was like
Maybe
I left at 4, and I
Yeah,
think
that was
you
what-
left at like 5 or
Yeah,
something.
'cause I had like a family thing at 6, and I
Yeah.
told him like I need to get, and like literally 5:10s. I'm sitting there like, what do I do here? So I called the golf club and was like, I gotta go. And they're like, you're packing everything up? I was like, yeah. I've been out here since like 8 o'clock in the morning. I've got somewhere to be.
And keep in mind, we're green. I'm like 3 months into mortgages. He's like 6 months into insurance. We don't know how this is supposed to work. And so my boss at the time, he called me and he's like, how's it going? And I told him, and so that's why at 4 o'clock, he said, leave right now. Just leave.
Yeah.
And so that's how we met. But we kind of bonded out there and we
You
started
guys
talking.
just started and completely fortified a friendship
Yeah.
over a terrible experience.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Josh's
That
head
hard part.
is
Oh,
blistered.
one of the guys
and-
comes up. He's like, dude, your head looks terrible. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, I'm gonna have a guy come out here and drive you in. You're gonna buy a hat from the golf shop. I'm like, all right, cool. They drove me in. I bought a hat, put it on, it went back out.
brought him back out.
Yeah.
But that's how we met. And so our initial conversation was like, hey, what are you doing to like get business or whatever, How are you meeting people? And I was like, I'm just kind of on Meetup looking for business networking things. And he's like, yeah, I'm kind of doing the same thing. So we were both kind of, just really early in, no idea what to do.
Yeah.
And he said, but I've got this coffee that I go to that I've started, and it was called the Wednesday Morning Coffee. It's like, it's just a couple of us, couple good guys, and would you want to come and check it out? And so I did, and that's kind of,
Yeah.
that's where it started from.
And then from there, just natural progression or what? Like
Over
whose
time.
idea? Yeah.
So we probably about a year of doing that one, and it was like 1 week we'd have 4, 1 week we'd have 10. We'd be really excited we had 10 people. Next week we'd have just us 2. And I remember at one point I think one of us said something about creating the Facebook group, and it was like that way if people can't be here, they can still see who was there and how they can help them, like whatever. And we created the Facebook group, and then I think within a couple months we were getting like 30 people every week. And then somebody was like, hey, y'all got to go to Spring Hill and do this in Spring Hill. So we go down to Spring Hill. That took even longer, I feel like, to get going. But
Yeah. We're like, would people come if we do it in another location,
Yeah.
And we're like, well, let's just try it and see.
Yeah.
And then we started that one, and then it grew. And then
And Kevin wanted to start a Linux.
Kevin wanted to
Village
start one in Lennox Village. We're like, all right, well, let's try Lennox Village. It was real organic and
Yeah.
slow how it started. And then by the time we get to right before COVID, our Cool Springs Brentwood meeting, it's like 50 plus people every week. Spring Hill's 30 some people every week. You know, it's like really trucking along, and people are like, hey, we want Murfreesboro or whatever these other locations were. And we're like, man, I think maybe we have something here. And we weren't great at like the social piece. We were just kind of making it up. And in
Spending
comes
hours Googling like what works in Facebook.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in comes Samantha, who we met at Connect, Brentwood at the time.
Yeah.
And so she just started like giving us value and tips and stuff for free and kind of helping him for like 6 months. And then we're like, maybe we ought to like really kind of bring her in and see if she can help us do this thing.
Oh yeah.
And then that's kind of when that started. And then it really started cooking that year. And then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And I remember at the end of 2019, we had a conversation. We're like, do you think anybody would do like an online networking thing? And Sam's like, well, there's other people doing them at places, you know, we could try it. So we started the online virtual networking meeting in January of 2020. And little did we know, come March, we would do it 4 times a week.
4 virtual meetings a week during COVID.
Yeah, and we'd cap it at 50, and there'd be tons of people
we
still
maxed
trying
out
to
just
get
about
in.
every meeting. Yeah.
And it kind of blew up and stuff from there, and
Yeah. Very organic. Everything was very organic with it. Yeah.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
No, that's really good, dude.
Oh yeah. Were you
18,000
expecting a story
people.
that was just like, we just snapped our fingers and everybody showed up. It was super easy.
No, but so many of these stories, they end up coming from like, it's this, well, I always had this drive that I was going to do this thing, and this was this baby, this was this passion project, and it wasn't. It was, hey, I got like 3-4 dudes that get together. You want to come and be the 5th dude?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's wild because I see you guys being at Cool Springs, and I've started coming there occasionally, just because I think it's cool what you do. That I'm secretly hoping to find my way into a free membership at Golf Sanctuary.
Yeah, same
but
here.
we all are actually. Yeah.
But it's like, we walked in there yesterday, and it's like there's 50, 60 people in there, and then you're like, we're doing this again tomorrow and again tomorrow. You got 18,000 people on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I know you're on all the other socials, but it's like there's what started as, hey, I got there's 3-4 of us. You want to be the 5th dude?
Yeah.
Is 18,000 people on one platform at least. And it's like, and I see those posts, and like the comment section just runs ragged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people are actually engaging it, as opposed to, not to compare it to some of these other, networked company conglomerate setup things. I'm giving them bad terms, and I regard, I don't have any feelings either way about those things, but it's just like it wasn't like we saw the profitability in it.
Yeah.
Like no, like well, I mean, we're both industries. We're both in industries that we got to know people. So knowing that it's based on relationships, it's got to go a long way. I just think it's cool when you hear those stories of people building something.
Yeah.
So, now we can talk about how to overly monetize it. No, sorry. Let me ruin everything that you made organically.
Well, it's funny though. People bring that up all the time. They're like, "How are you making money off this?" It's like, my business grows from referrals off of it. And they're like, no,
Right.
like, how are you making money off the group? I was like, that's not the point, really. Like, any money that we make off of it, it's like we put right back into the network. So it's like, if like to run ads to grow it or whatever, it's like that. We don't make money off of it ourselves.
But what if? Now, is it Connect Nashville or Nashville Connect?
Connect Nashville.
Connect Nashville.
I'm pretty sure I say that wrong all the time. Sorry.
Everybody does.
That's right. Yeah.
So Connect Nashville. What if Connect Nashville had a corporate membership at Golf Sanctuary?
I mean, I would love that. The memberships are expensive there, but we'd probably need to.
Well, sure, but in this scenario, I've made the finances of that your problem and not mine.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
I only know one person with a membership over there.
Yeah.
And Sean doesn't invite me enough to play golf.
There you go.
You need to
Sean Turner, I need more golf invites. Sean Turner, I need more. Which one do I look at? Make it here. Just bring it right here. Right here. Sean, I need more invites to Golf Sanctuary. Okay. Like, I'm just saying, I think we need to do that.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it if we could get there.
Hey.
I'm not opposed to it at all.
I say, we need to figure that out.
Yeah.
It's a hard road, though. You know, you gotta tread lightly with when you're bringing in this amount of people to some of these locations. You know, it's like it's an extreme blessing to be able to be there.
Well, and they've been really good to you guys.
They've been
you know,
amazing.
Yes,
So-
yes, and you know, and it's hard sometimes. You know, it's like when people want to start me because people come up to us all the time. Hey, I want to start one of these in wherever.
In Clarksville or
Or wherever it is, and we're like we try and scare them to death, you know,
yeah, like
Oh,
which
yeah.
usually
don't want to do that.
which usually works,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's just the way we do it. It's a commitment to it, and there's stuff to do and things like that, you know, to facilitate one of our meetings, and so. We try and keep it consistent because the brand, you know, I mean, because you could talk a little bit like just kind of why, I mean, like the heart behind why we even did it, you know, when it came to networking groups that we had gone to and stuff. We're like, let's do this a little.
Oh, let's be fair. They're brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always told people I don't go to networking groups. I hate them. I told Tony this after I knew that you guys had this company. You know, when we first met, I told him, I said, my problem with them is that you go to some of the, you know, standard ones, you know, that, you know, we don't need to name, we don't need to throw them under the bus, and 90% of the time, it's why I don't like chamber events, right? Because most chambers, and not all of them, there's always exceptions to the rule, but in my experience, most of them are just people who don't know how to generate business, all just sitting around together so they can feel better about themselves, forcing each other to give each other leads. It's not relational. It's not organic. It's not from any good posture or heart or anything. It's just I'm going to leech off of you and you leech off of me, and we can just circulate the same tainted blood, and I don't really want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is gross.
Or like they're checking a box, like their manager told them to go to a networking meeting, and
Right.
they went. Like that's really it.
To be here, you pay X amount of dollars to be here, and you must give 2 referrals per month, and we track them, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, like I thought we were in relationship industries. Like I don't know. I just go find people I like and that like me, and there's plenty of people that don't like me, and there's plenty of people I don't like, and that's okay. Weed through them, find the ones that I like and they like me, and then just spend time with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I go, how do I, like, instead of going like, what do you have for me? Go like, oh, well, hey, let's explore what I might have for you.
Yeah.
Like, what if I just gave it away freely? Maybe what you guys need to develop is an app like Tinder. Like I've been blessed to be married long enough, and with my wife long enough that I have not had to date during any of that stuff. But like, if you just put your little mini business profile in there,
Yeah.
and then you got to swipe right on people that you went, I think I might be professionally friends with them. And if they swipe on you, then you meet for coffee.
Ooh. What?
I mean,
It's not a bad
Just
idea.
feels sleazy, but I'm just saying it's someone's gonna make it.
well, I think there was a dating app called Bumble.
has one.
Yeah, I think
Shut
Bumble.
up, really?
I think Bumble does that. It's like Bumble Professional or something like that.
No. Like the only time I've ever used any of those apps is when our old friend Jerry finally had settled out, just a nasty divorce, sadly, and he was finally like, and he's a little bit older than we are, and he was finally ready to start dating, and we built him a profile, and then we picked what pictures of his went on there, and then we would swipe left and right on people, and he ended up dating a girl for quite a while from us completely manipulating his
That's
dating
amazing.
life, his non-existing dating life.
Yeah, yeah.
It's called Bumble Biz.
There you go, Bumble Biz.
There you go.
Sounds terrible.
I remember telling Rachel one day, if you see the Bumble app on my phone, it's just for business. I promise.
That's a very dangerous joke.
Yeah, it is.
It's a very dangerous joke.
Yeah. Look,
I swear I was interested in her services.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh.
She's a real estate agent. We're good.
That just took us from PG to PG-13, but not rated R.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're good. We're good there.
What? Tell me this, because we've been talking for a while, but
Yeah.
I am curious. Not to make it about insurance, but like, so fast forward. So you and your wife, you're here in Nolensville. You're not at Liberty.
Nope.
You are at.
I'm at HQ Insurance.
Right.
So I left Liberty in 2018 to go to HQ Insurance, become a broker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get to kind of, hey, I'll find the best thing for you instead of you having to go find the best thing for you.
Exactly.
Which makes a lot of sense. Like, let's say it's me, right? Like, let's be real. The world's pretty crazy right now. I upset a State Farm guy last night by talking about how they canceled 72,000 policies in California, and then the wildfires hit, and he was a little defensive of that.
Ooh.
Yeah, you missed Bible study last night. I totally, Like I still would have
Oh,
said it,
yeah.
but I wish I would have said it remembering
Yeah.
that I was, stepping on Matt's toes a little bit.
Yeah.
And he took it in good fun. We had good time with it.
Yeah.
But it definitely.
If he wore swag, you'd remember.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
never wears
Yeah.
State Farm gear. He's the worst State Farm agent ever. But so we were kind of touching on that. So I know like insurance has changed a lot. Like do you still love it?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the agencies are so regulated that they probably make their agents' lives real hard.
Well, it's not as easy as it used to be. Let's put it that way. But at the end of the day, we're taking care of people. We build relationships with our clients, and that's what I'm in it for. So
Like you actually know your people.
yeah, I know a good amount of my clients,
Right.
and like I try to make it a point when a client calls, like not just to talk about their policy, like how's life going, what's going on with you guys, just because that's going to build rapport. Like I want to get to know them. I want them to feel like they know me, and so that aspect of it is awesome. Like I love everything about that. But I mean, in any job you have, you're going to things that you don't like, things that are frustrating for 6 months to a year, and then maybe they get better, maybe they don't. So I think if you just focus on the positives and the stuff that got you to where you are, then like you can outweigh all the negative stuff.
Yeah, I mean we're in the mortgage industry, so yeah, we get that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
We're
it's
in
been
rental cars, so we get
Yeah.
that.
awful.
Ugh.
the industry.
The
The
industry.
industry.
Anything with like we're seeing stuff with like the election and man, there's never been a more polarizing person than Donald Trump, and I'm here for all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, is there stuff that you guys are like, these are the things that we're thinking are coming down the pipe?
No, I mean a
And we
lot.
won't hold your feet to the fire. You're
Yeah,
allowed to be
yeah.
wrong here.
Well, I mean, a lot of it, I think you see coming down the pipe just because of like the weather stuff we've been dealing with. I mean, an example would probably be 2 years ago. We had three big tornadoes and a big windstorm. So you see companies saying like, okay, we're going to tighten up our underwriting now and things like that because we're getting hit with so many claims. I mean, like certain things like a State Farm pulling out of California and things like that. Like you don't really see stuff like that happen, but you could see how that would happen.
Right.
After-
The education I was given on that last night had to do with the fact that they're so regulated on what their profit margins are
Yeah.
allowed to be
Yeah.
that then they have to go after their highest risk.
Yep.
Clientele. So obviously, in a state that they can fight all day long about whether it's a federal or state problem, but in a state where they don't do any, their forestry is completely non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their cutting of firefighters, their jobs over jab mandates and all of that, but then they cut funding and budgets and all that, and it's pretty easy for an insurance company to go, y'all don't have enough firefighters or a budget for the firefighters, and you're not doing anything to take care of the forests.
Cut off the water supply.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This sounds like a powder keg ready to go up, literally.
Yep.
Right. They say this one's gone. This thing is accelerated 4 times faster than any wildfire on record. I've read that multiple sources. I've read that from,
Yeah.
and all like your main 3-4 letter reporting agencies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So whether or not that's true or not, I don't know how to go do the math on the rate of fire growth. Didn't take fire science class, slept in that day, but like it's wild what's out there. But these agencies, then of course, right? Any good business, you're in business to make money,
Yeah.
right? So then you're going to go, well, you're our riskiest people, meaning you're our most likely to be a loss financially people, right? So then they're going to cancel that stuff.
Yeah.
They're going to cancel those policies, that kind of that segment of their business. It's the same thing. Like I got to imagine, so that runs into then like Florida passing laws to mandate certain coverages. We do mortgages in Florida, and you just go, well, just triple what you thought the homeowners insurance would be anywhere else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is that what version of that's going to happen in Tennessee?
Well, you're seeing some carriers are starting to like cut off certain zip codes because there's a lot of claims in certain zip codes. So like a carrier,
Because let's be fair, a lot of that tornado stuff it definitely missed north to Kentucky.
yeah,
But we've had a couple that have gone tearing through, and catching starting all the way out, Burns and whatnot, or Clarksville, or Gallatin. Like, I mean, it's run through. I mean, heck, East Nashville got pretty beat up a couple years ago.
oh yeah. I mean, even like Mount Juliet, I feel like they get hit.
Well, that one's I want to say that one had sat down in East Nashville and ran all the way up to Juliet. I mean, just left a path.
Sat down on Boom Bobs. Like the whole roof of Boom Bobs is ripped off.
Ripped off.
Really?
Yeah, over there in the East.
Yeah, that was our East Nashville meetings there, and they were like, we're done for a year because they didn't have a roof.
I could see that being an issue.
Yeah.
It's a real problem.
Not
Yeah.
easy. Yeah.
Real logistical issue.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
rain.
now it's an outdoor venue. You know, but yeah.
It's an amphitheater. We're at Boombah's Amphitheater.
Not by choice, just by nature.
Wait,
Yeah.
more rain here than Seattle.
Yeah,
Okay, so-
yeah. No, I mean, I think you're seeing carriers just be a lot more selective on how they do things now, because of things like that. Like you're getting carriers now that like they won't write the home unless you've got the auto with them too, or vice versa. They're really trying to make sure they're capitalizing on everything.
So they're getting away from just like multi-policy like discounts, and now it's like multi-policy mandates.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
wild.
Or like one
I'd
carrier.
never heard that. That is news to me.
Yeah, one carrier actually is now doing you have a 6-month auto policy, but you can have a 12-month auto policy if your home's with them. Like little things like that to maximize like the profit and things that are coming in. And I mean, they're not nonprofit companies, you know, like they're not
No,
making
for
money.
sure.
They're not they can't pay claims. So
Yeah.
they got to figure it out. It's just the negative part of the industry. But
Well,
that's why you don't work with one carrier. You work with a bunch so you can move people around when things like that happen.
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, dude, let's figure out the cornhole tournament.
Yeah.
And, you know, working with the nonprofits and giving some stuff back. And
Let's do it.
I'd rather be, I'd much rather be known like in my role. I'd much rather be known for, you know, helping guys tell stories and getting stories told, and you know, and helping add to people's legacies, not because of anything I did, but the same way it sounds like you'd rather be known for. Yeah, if you're going to be known for something, be known for doing the good and sowing
Yeah.
the good into the world instead of
100%.
just taking, right? Let's give and not take.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, and it's the book I'd recommend that you read is it's called Never Eat Alone. Keith Ferrazzi wrote Never Eat
Okay.
Alone. It's a great book, and I will overly simplify the summary of it. And you'll find this definitely, right in the heart of this book. But there's definitely more to the meat of it. But it's you build relational equity, give it away freely, and never keep score.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what we do with that. That was my heart of what I was going to do with my business. When Tony and I were talking, and I invited him into it, that was that heart, and I was just like, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to give it away freely. We ain't going to keep score. You know what I mean? And it sounds like that's what you're doing too. So anything we can do to help, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're on board, and we're going to get Brian Ray out there playing during the day.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the person that you tried to reference. We're gonna see if we can't get her out there.
Yeah.
Dude, we could do comedy nights. We could get Jeff Allen to come out. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're listening to like clean comedy, Jeff Allen's your dude, right?
Yeah.
If you're a dry bar guy, Jeff Allen's your guy. Everybody knows Jeff Allen.
Totally.
He's been touring doing comedy for 30-some years.
Yeah.
He lives in Fairview. Goes to our church.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. Did
Yeah,
a
he's a
fun
great dude.
men's ministry night with us at the church. It was awesome.
Nice.
But like.
Maybe we can
all
find
of-
a connection to like Nate Bargatze. And
Oh,
like that,
yeah,
too,
yeah, I
since He's
bet.
a national guy.
Oh yeah, that's the guy, right? Can you get the Bargazzis or the John Christs or those guys to come and just like, hey, it ain't for us. Like, I don't need you to make, I don't need to make Josh Minton HQ
Exactly.
famous.
Yeah,
Like, you don't
yeah.
need to make, Compass Mortgage, Josh and Tony famous. Like, that's not the thing. Make these kids famous.
Yep. Make these
and
nonprofits
Let's put some
famous.
money in
Yeah.
their pockets, right? Make the nonprofits famous so they can go get more kids.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So, hey, by the way, if anybody knows Bargazzi or Christ, if you could let us know.
Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah, whatever camera we look at.
Yeah.
Just look at all of them.
Yeah.
Just tell me now.
Let
Yeah,
us
that's
know,
right.
please.
I
Thank
don't
you
know.
very much.
Gavin will fix all of that.
Yeah.
While he doesn't edit it in the lack of post
I
production.
think it's better if it's not edited, right?
No,
the
it's
camera's
better.
over here and I'm looking at that one. I think
Bro,
it's better.
that's why I told you at the beginning. Like, by the way, we do have the editing stuff. We're not going to do it. We just
Yeah.
put out raw.
Put it out.
He'll fade us in, fade us out, basically, right? We'll put a little end caps on it,
There we
and
go. There we go.
and we may have to edit out Tony's almost curse.
Almost cursed.
Almost cursed.
Yeah.
At
We
least he
later
moved the
then gave him
microphone,
credit
right?
for
That's right.
singing and worshiping and preaching. So
I love Jesus, but I swear a little.
Well,
that's a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt. I love Jesus.
I'll
but
get
I
that
swear a little.
I'll get that one made too. Yeah.
No, we're good, man. Dude, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you,
glad you're
man.
here, man.
Thank you for inviting me, man. It's been a lot of fun.
We're gonna do it. We got neon lights down. They
Yeah,
sent
no,
this
it's
to
pretty
us.
awesome.
Turns out just double-sided stick. Yeah, that's all I got to do.
Yeah.
Also, hey, we got some tape coming off on these cords. We got to fix that. So
Where's Randall?
yeah.
Not a team player. We
Not a
already
team player,
established
Randall.
that.
Kind of lazy.
Freaking Randall.
Yeah, Randall. He's probably